the middle. It is. Hello, everyone. Bruno is in the middle, and he was mint the other night. Hope you're doing all right, everyone. It's been a very busy morning already, and it's not even it's what 12:15 as I'm filming this. So we've got a few pieces of news from this morning already, some official news, and some speculation, of course, with the hunt of a striker. So drop us a like. We're not live. This is a pre-recorded video. We will be live later on the night though, so do join us later on. Make sure you've got the bell turned on underneath so you get those notifications, man. Right, let's have a little look and see what's going on in the world of football, shall we? So the first piece of news, and it's official if you haven't seen this, that Matt Targett has left Newcastle United on loan and he's going to join Middlesbrough. So let's have a look at the club's website and what they said about it. There he is playing against Espanyol when he scored, playing in centre midfield, which was mad just saying that and saying that. Newcastle fullback Matt Targett has joined Championship side Middlesbrough on loan for the rest of the season. The 29-year-old who's played 47 times for the Magpies since arriving from Villa in 2022. He makes a switch to Tyneside in search of regular football after coming injury setbacks in recent years. He joined the Borough side, who've started the season well under Rob Edwards, who have basically won 3 out of 3, and they are second in the Championship. Everybody at Newcastle wishes Matt well during his time there. So the question is he effectively left the club then? Because he's got he's got under a year left of his contract left at Newcastle, which if the club, and I won't be too surprised if that have, because they've done it with Martin Dubravka recently and got a little bit of money from Burnley, because Dubravka would have been effectively a free agent, so we've got a little bit of money triggered, put him on another year's contract, didn't we, when he was in the side, and then he was out the side, which was probably harsh done by, but don't be too surprised if that comes out later, that there's a 1-year extension being added just so Newcastle will probably try and get a little bit of money next summer. But if they haven't, which I'll be surprised at, he's effectively gone. Let's be honest, he's not going to play for Newcastle United again if the club haven't put that 1 year extra in there. Look, he's way down the pecking order. We'll have a look at what Middlesbrough say in a second, but he's way down the pecking order in terms of football, and you having right backs playing ahead of you, and when you're having right backs playing ahead of you, you just know that this something's not right, is it? Let's be honest. So because you've obviously got the likes of Tino can play there, Trippier can play there, Dan Burn can play there. He's well down the pecking order. I wouldn't even say his second choice, to be honest. So, and obviously Lewis Hall will take that position, no doubt. Very, very soon, probably against Leeds. I expect Lewis Hall to come back in. But Matt Targett has left. What have Middlesbrough said about him? There he is. Looks weird in the Middlesbrough top, doesn't he? So, Matt Targett has joined the club on a season-long loan from Newcastle. The left-sided defender will further strengthen Rob Edwards' Borough squad after completing the switch from the Premier League. The former Southampton youngster has clocked up over 200 career appearances, the majority coming in the top flight. Other than a short loan spell at Fulham, the player has spent his entire career at the Premier League. He's made 63 appearances for Southampton, further 89 appearances for Villa, and he's the only player to start all 38 Premier League games in 2021 and was named Players Player of the Year. He initially joined Newcastle on loan in January 2022 before making a £15 million move that the club later that year. He's the 7th summer signing of the season for Middlesbrough. So initially, I'm not going to sit here and deny it. Initially, when he was on loan, I wanted Matt Targett to sign permanently. Now, hindsight's a wonderful thing, of course it is. Although people have said horrendous left-back choices at the same time as well. But at present, and it wasn't just me on the channel as well, one of those choices was to make that permanent. At that time, I said, yeah, it makes sense. He's had a fantastic loan spell where we were literally 19th and then we climbed to, mid-table. But it's been a disaster since he's signed permanently. Let's be honest, he's had injury setbacks. He's had a mad case of eczema and just well down the pecking order, as I've already said. So I wish him well, but yeah, he's not a Premier League player. He cannot run with the ball, and I didn't want to criticise the lad too much because no doubt he's a nice lad, but you've got to get up and down that pitch and with pace. And as soon as he gets a ball, he passes it. Passes it square. Nah, I think he's at that level. I think he's at the right level, so you'll play well. You'll be a regular there. He's going to wear the number 3 shirt at Middlesbrough. So, and I think Newcastle with Lewis Hall will be, as I say, first choice, and as I've touched upon already, they've got abundance of left backs there. So, yeah, Matt Targett departs. Now, interesting. because we talked about this the last couple of nights. If you haven't seen the live show with 40 last night, we talked about that yesterday and the other day on a live stream, is that Alexander Isak has been called up to the Swedish squad. Okay, come back to that, what that means in a minute in terms of where's he at in terms of match fitness. But there you go. Quaco put that out shortly. Alexander Isak is set to play for Sweden. The striker has been included in the World Cup qualifiers against Slovenia and Kosovo next month. Okie dokie then. So we know that he's training alone. Look, I'm not going to go through the reason why he's doing that. Like, he's all know that. I don't have to tell you that. So we all know that he's training alone, but he's not match fit. So ironically, whichever club he's going to be at after Monday, because that's deadline day, he's going to have a little bit of match fitness in him because he'll probably play the 2 games. Whether I don't think he'll play the full 90 mind in either one, but it's one step closer to getting match fit, and so that benefits Newcastle if he is integrated back into the squad. Look, he's got a lot of apologising to do. We know this. Or if he does make that move to Liverpool, it'll benefit Liverpool. It just depends where he's at. Let's be honest. It just depends which club he's at come September the 2nd. Because we'll have to wait and see, to be honest with you. But there you go. Let us know how you feel about Alexander Isak then. The last piece of news this morning. Look, there'll be more news because, as I say, news is just coming out left, right and centre. We're going to go very up to the top. David Ornstein earlier this morning said that Jørgen Strand Larsen is not agitating to leave Wolves, but is keen on making the Newcastle move. Wolves have turned down an approved £55 million bid from Newcastle for the 25-year-old striker, and that was obviously last night, but still intend to keep the Norway international amid ongoing pursuit. So, obviously, he came off the bench last night. West Ham are just in free fall. They've got Jared Bowen arguing with fans and they're losing games, and he came off the bench whilst West Ham were winning 2-1. A couple of minutes later, he scores a couple and puts Wolves in front, turns the game around, and Wolves go through the next round. And he's the hero, come off the bench and netted a brace. And so there's a way you do it, isn't it? There's a way you go about things. You look at Vissa's attitude, and now he's back with the Brentford team again, but his stinks. Alexander Isak stinks. But Jørgen Strand Larsen, according to Ornstein, says that you like the move to Newcastle, but the way he's going about it, similar to probably Eze when he got his move to Arsenal recently, you'll still play, you'll still train, he doesn't kick a fuss about it. So, but if Newcastle come calling, he'll be open up to the idea that, yeah, you'll fancy the move. How much do we need to go now? 55 million. Again, we've talked about the last couple of days is how desperate are Newcastle getting. We are getting pretty desperate. We're dropping down the list. And look, we know that at the moment, we'll have to say at the moment because we don't know what's happening with Visa, is that effectively the striker that comes in is going to be Callum Wilson's replacement. It looks like it's currently at this stage Jørgen Strand Larsen. In 2 or 3 days, it could be Visa the Targett goes back to. It could be someone from Europe. We didn't know. But at the moment, it's Jørgen Strand Larsen. We're going to have to pay over the odds for all these players that aren't. Like I talked about the other night to tie the ground. There's a category of list A, B, C. I'd probably put Strand Larsen in a C. To be honest with you, he's then a B, then an A. Isak's in the A, isn't he? And look, there's not many players in that A category, but we're gonna have to pay over the odds for these strikers because we're desperate. We can't rely on Anthony Gordon. He's suspended, and Will Asulas came off the bench and scored. For me, he has to start because if he doesn't start against Leeds, that sends a message out. Your strikers just come off the bench. What else you've got to do? You scored a goal. What else he's got to do to get in that team? So, but yeah, there you go. That's the update. Drop us a like. As I say, once more, we'll be live later on the night, so do come back to NFTV. We'll see you later on the night, everyone.